Hey, twinkle twinkle, it's your boy Starr Lyfe, TSF Business AGP representative. And look, what I'm finna start doing, I'm finna start doing story time. Cause my life is like a movie, literally. Like when y'all look at all these story times I'm finna upload to my channel, y'all gonna be like, oh yeah, his life is a movie for real. I'm gonna skip past the baby part and I'm gonna go straight from when I moved from California to Oklahoma. So, if you don't know, most everybody know, but if you don't know, I'm originally from California. I was born in San Diego, but I don't remember San Diego at all. I was a baby when I moved from San Diego, and I was raised in Long Beach. I learned like everything in Long Beach. I learned how to walk, talk, everything in Long Beach. That's where all my mannerisms come from, the way I act, the way I dress, the way I talk, everything come from Long Beach. Um, Shout out to my whole Long Beach family, you know what I'm saying, the Terrells. Rest in peace to my grandpa. Um, Shout out to all my cousins out there. Free Reese, Free Seabird. Shout out to my cousin P Nice. Y'all know P Nice. That's DW Flames people. P Nice got his show on YouTube. King Pookie Rule, the biggest in the world, one of the best sea walkers, and he could rap, he DJ, he do everything. You know what I'm saying? They're my peoples, P Nice and Pookie Rule, and Lil Freddie. He just got out. We got a lot of Lil Freddie stories. We're gonna go on to the Lil Freddie stories. He gonna have his own little series. They call him Take 3, Insane Crip. And then we're gonna on some more segments. I'm gonna talk about the Insane Crips. Like I got some stories about that too. But we're gonna focus on this one right now. And a lot of people don't know. The three amigos when we was little was me, Seabird. His name was Chris Edwards, and Brian Banks. If y'all don't know who Brian Banks is, look up Brian Banks, the Brian Banks story. They just did a big old movie about him. He was the one that got framed in high school. He went to Poly, and he got framed for grape. And he went to jail, and he was supposed to be a big-time athlete, big-time NFL star. And he had to do all those years in prison. And then the girl ended up, confessing that she lied. And he got out, and he ended up going to the Atlanta Falcons. And, it just didn't work out how it was supposed to. But me, him, and Chris Edwards, we was the three amigos back in the day, back in the Long Beach days. Before I moved, I ended up moving to Oklahoma I don't remember what age I was, like 12, 13, something like that. 11, 12, 13, something like that. But I moved to Oklahoma. When you talk about a culture shock, OMG. Oklahoma was, only thing the same about Oklahoma and Cali was the streets, because Oklahoma was gang banged out. And California gang banged out, of course. But the crazy thing about it is, when I moved to Oklahoma, remember I'm from Long Beach. I've never seen a blood before in my life. From Crip City. So all I knew was Crip. That's why I say cuz 24/7. Cuz. I never seen a blood before. So the first time I moved from California to Long Beach, I had some cousins, and out of all places in the city, y'all gonna laugh when I say this. Most of my cousins lived in the Highlands, North Highlands, on the north side. Now, if y'all don't know about the North Highlands, that's all blood hood. I didn't know. My mama didn't know. Nobody knew. We never seen Bloods before. We from Long Beach, and of course, I never went to LA because I was too young back then. So I remember going over to visit my cousins. I got a bunch of cousins over there in North Highlands. Chris Cutter Classics. He make all the beats in the city. One of the biggest producers in Oklahoma City. TJ, they used to call him Toothpick. JoJo, Brandon, Erica, Ashley. Them all my cousins that's just from the Highlands. They don't gang bang, but they from the Highlands. They grew up in the Highlands. Then I got two cousins that gang bang, and that's Harvey and Jerry, aka Booger. One of them a Crip though from the Highlands. I don't know how that worked out like that, but he a Crip. He from the Highlands, and one of them a Blood. But anyway, them all my peoples and all my cousins: Harvey, Jerry, Chris Cutter, TJ, Brandon, JoJo, Ashley, Erica. Them all my cousins from the Highlands. So boom, I go over there to the Highlands one day. I will never forget this. And we go to the park. Of course, I'm in all blue. I'm from Long Beach. I never wore red before until I got older. I go to the park in all blue. And I remember, this was before he died. Mandrill was like, hey, who is this? And they was like, oh, this is Lil Dion. And my name is Dion. I'm a Deion Sanders fanatic too. So it worked out. I want to be Deion Sanders bad. They He was like, this little Dion, he from Long Beach. They was like, man, now you got to remember, I'm 40. So this is back at the early 2000s when I went over there. So it was color banging wasn't real hard, but he still wanted to know why this little boy in all blue. Yeah, he like got a lot of blue on. And he was like, yeah, he from Cali. He don't really know about the stuff. So my first impression, but they was cool. They gave me a pass because I was new there and I didn't really know. So my first impression of Oklahoma, I thought Oklahoma was all the Bloods. So I'm like, okay, California the Crips, Oklahoma the Bloods. Because that was the first thing I ever seen. Then we move over to I get to stomping around 63rd a lot. And boy, we got this neighborhood. I'm from Twin Lakes. I'm from West Side, from West Side 63rd, Twin Lakes. We'll get into that too. But around the corner from Twin Lakes is Lyrewood, L Block. Shout out to L Block. So I started going over there. Nothing but Crips. But listen to this. Back when I was there was a lot of 24 carats over there. Of course, it was a bunch of neighborhoods. It was a mixture of different Crips. A lot of 24 carats was over there. A dude named Doug and a whole bunch of neighborhoods. I remember this dude named Scrambound and the rest of them neighborhoods, Mike and everybody. Ice Mike. Shout out to Ice Mike. And ass gonna be kicking my ass. Anyway, so then I just got to stomping around. Then my cousin, my kinfolk Aunt Brown, Well Connected Records, I end up meeting him, and he's from 60s. So I'm just like, wait a minute, Oklahoma got a bunch of Crips and a bunch of Bloods. So I just started stomping around, and that's when I figured out Oklahoma City had a lot of gangs. But forget all the gang stuff. The one thing that made me latch on to Oklahoma, remember I'm from Long Beach. We did not have animals and shit in Long Beach. It's a city. My daddy is from the country. He's from Spencer, but him and his brother lived in Dungee their whole life. So when I used to visit my daddy, I used to go straight to Dungee. And that's how I got cool with a lot of Dungee. That's how I met a lot of 4-6 and 6-0s and all that. And this is when I used to just visit Oklahoma. Anytime I used to visit as a baby, I used to be in Dungee a lot. So that's how a lot of them know me. Shout out to all the Dungee homies. My first best friend in Oklahoma, like my first one, his name was Taiwan. Y'all call him Stunner. Taiwan Goolsby. We was kids, and I used to come visit. Me and Taiwan used to catch horny toads and stuff. I was an animal fanatic. I used to come out here and pick up the most dangerous animals. I used to walk in sewers and pick up snakes and come back home and be like, Mama, look at this snake. Psh, Mama slapped the heck out of me because she didn't deal with it. And I dropped snake everywhere, and everybody in the house is jumping and running. And they're like, pick up the snakes. I'm like, I just had the snake. You made me drop it. And then pick it up again. So I had to pick up snake again. Psh, get slapped again for picking up snake because I dropped snake and I picked it up. So a whole bunch. I had a cup full of spiders. I used to catch horny toads. That was my favorite thing. Me and Taiwan caught so many horny toads. So so it was like the country. I'm not a fan of the country. I never rode a horse or nothing. I was into the bugs and animals. I don't really do rodeos and horses and stuff, but the bugs and animals. So that was my biggest culture shock. Was like, oh my God, Oklahoma got animals. I remember I chased a squirrel and it bit me. Thought I was gonna die because I heard squirrels got rabies and stuff. I'll never forget. I got close enough to a squirrel and it bit me. I'll never forget. I got stung by 1,000,000 wasps. Oh, they used to tear me up trying to catch a wasp. I'm talking about I was an animal fanatic when I first moved out here. And then the second culture shock was snow. I will never forget, I ended up in the hospital because I went outside. We didn't have snow in Cali. I went outside and jumped in the snow like, I'm a little kid, no clothes down there. And hypothermia, I was in there. Oh, it was crazy. So Oklahoma was a big culture shock. But and I stayed out in Oklahoma. From the time I got here, like I said, I was a teenager, like 11, 12, 13, one of them. Then I stayed in Oklahoma all the way till I was 28. So that's 15 years. I stayed till I was 28, and then I left. So I was in Oklahoma for like 15 years, and I did so much in Oklahoma. That's why I rep Oklahoma, because even though I learned how to walk and talk, and all my mannerisms came from Long Beach, I did my first everything in Oklahoma. I busted my first everything in Oklahoma, if y'all can, both ways, down there and down there, with the hand. I had my first girlfriend, my first kiss, my first best friend, my first fight, my first everything was in Oklahoma. And of course, the biggest thing I turned in the Starr Lyfe in Oklahoma. Well, I was young Starr back then, but I turned in the Starr Lyfe in Oklahoma. So that's why I rep Oklahoma so hard, because I became me in Oklahoma. Even though my mannerisms and the way I act is like a Cali dude, and the way I talk and all that is Cali dude, you know, with the balls on my hair. Of course, we all everybody in Long Beach got this from Snoop Dogg. I'm in Oklahoma because my neighborhood is out here. You know, I bang my neighborhood. I'm from West Side 63rd Street. I bang my neighborhood, and you know, I'm Oklahoma, so that's why I rep Oklahoma so hard. And then the stuff that I've accomplished in this 15 years living in Oklahoma, that's another reason why I rep Oklahoma. We're going to get into that. These 15 years are going to seem like 100 years when I tell y'all these stories of what I did in Oklahoma. So I just had to get that out the way. This is story time number one. Like I said, coming from Cali. Damn, my asthma. I got bad asthma. I've been having asthma so bad. And the weather changed. It's cold. It's summertime right now, and it's cold in Oklahoma. Be messing me up. But anyway, yeah. So this is story time number one. Coming from Cali to Oklahoma, you know, and we're gonna get into more stories. I'm gonna do this every day. So yeah, lock in with your boy. This is Starr Lyfe. If you got any stories that you know what I'm saying, that you remember back from when Starr first came to Oklahoma, because I had a nickname in Oklahoma. We're going to get into that too. That was the dancing era. I used to dance too. But yeah, put it in the comments. Type in the comments. I want to know where y'all from in the comments. Like, where y'all from? You know what I'm saying? I like to travel. I might pull up on one of y'all. But did you ever live somewhere as a baby and move somewhere later on down in life? What was that like? Tell me about that experience in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go on down. This is Starr Lyfe Speaks. And I got a bunch of stories, so we finna get to it. TSF Business AGP. Oh yes, twinkle, twinkle. B-word.